Hell of a summer, more like hell of a good time. Sorry, I'll see myself out. Anyway, settle in, grab a drink, let's do it. Cheers.
We are the DFPN. Always question the answers.
So, A Hell of a Summer is a new film directed by Film Wolfhard and Billy Brick. Billy Brick, I'm not super familiar with. I want to say he was in Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, but Finn Wolfhard, I think, is the name that's going to stick out to most people. I know it caught my attention almost immediately. His breakout role obviously was in Stranger Things, but then he went on to play Richie Tozier in It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and then has a starring role in the new Ghostbusters sequels. Afterlife and Frozen Empire, and hopefully we see him come back for some more because those were very solid. But overall, I mean, this is going to be a fairly short review. From a negative standpoint, I don't really have any, which was surprising to me. I expected going into a Gen Z slasher update, we'll call it, as a elder millennial who grew up with Jason and Sleepaway Camp and all of the other Friday the 13th sequels. I expected this one to not necessarily work for me. I expected it to be far too updated for me to like. I thought the Gen Z terminology and spin on it would be too much, but it didn't hamper my enjoyment of the film at all. In fact, I think it made it a little bit better for me because I was able to look at some of these jokes from the outside and laugh along with the kids in the film. From a narrative standpoint, it's a very simple setup, very well-known setup. A bunch of camp counselors come back to camp 2 to 3 days before it's supposed to open. The owners are mysteriously missing, and things go sideways fairly quickly. It doesn't take long for this movie to really pick up and start going where it's supposed to go. Got a couple mixed things on it. I think they had the opportunity, had they desired to go a little bit farther with this one, being that it's an R-rated film. There's a part of me that's happy that they didn't, because I think that this is a very, very solid entry point for teenagers who are interested in horror. There's not a level of gore that's going to disgust anyone, but for anyone not familiar with the genre, there is a level of gore that'll be shocking enough that it will either let them know that this is not a genre that they want to dig into, or that it's something that they want to experiment with a little bit more. The comedy elements here, though, are what really stand out. This is a funny film, and I was not expecting it to be as funny as it is, even though they show in the trailers that it's a horror comedy. I think they lean a little bit too hard in the marketing on the slasher side of the house, because while that is the driving force behind the narrative, it is not the bulk of the screen time. Which again was pleasant for me. It was a nice change of pace because I had just gotten out of a viewing of The Woman in the Yard, and I'll put a little card up here somewhere once I figure out how to do that to my review of that film, which is a very different conversation. But overall, this is a damn solid movie. The acting is solid. All the kids that they got together are very, very good at what they do. The asshole character is very much an asshole, plays it very well and very within the age group. I think the fact that you have two gentlemen who are close enough to that age to still remember what it was like, but also close enough that there's not a massive generational divide between their audience and the writers is hugely helpful here. I've got a lot of criticisms, where I have had a lot of criticisms in the past for Stephen King, strangely enough, even though he's my favorite author, who is known for writing children very, very well. But because of the age gap now between him and the characters that he's attempting to write in modern settings, the language can be quite different. This one nails it pretty well. There wasn't a single line in this movie that I didn't understand. As a parent of teenagers, I got all of it. There's a couple scenes, two, really. One around a grill, where they're all eating lunch, that I thought was hilarious, and another around a Ouija board that I thought was very, very well done. And there's a lot of good one-liners, one of which that's in the trailer is when the kid picks up the phone and he says, "The line's been cut." I've always wanted to say that. Obviously, he delivers the line far better than I do. But yeah, there were a lot of laugh out loud moments in this film. And I highly recommend it, again, to anybody who has kids that are looking to find out if horror is a genre for them. And I know with a lot of the online discourse over some of the films that have come out here recently, Megan 2, that's coming out here not too long from now, rather. I'm sorry, still caffeinating up, so. There's a lot to draw kids into the genre, and I think this is a very, very solid chance for folks to test the waters, to dip their toes in, as it were. Now, there are some aspects of this movie that didn't hit 100% for me. The killer reveal, I thought, was kind of a letdown. That being said, their motivations make a lot of sense, given the current state of things with social media and the like. So while it wasn't, a jaw-dropping reveal or a motivation that I went, holy cow, I'd love to see that story, it was one that made sense within the narrative. And I didn't feel like it took away from the movie at all. The special effects in here are quite good. There's a couple CGI effects that stood out to me, but as a big practical effects fan, I tend to pick up on those things where a lot of people don't, so I wouldn't let that detract you from seeing this movie. And this is one that I would recommend seeing in theaters with an audience if you can. I know the theater that I went to, I was in there with only 2 other people. I went to see a 2:40 p.m. showing, so it was early in the afternoon on a Saturday, on a day that a lot of other things were going on in the country. So I think that played into why the theater was as empty as it was. That being said, the 3 of us that were in the theater were laughing from start to finish. They did a very, very good job with this movie. So yeah, get your kids together. Anybody, I'd say 14 or older, this would be appropriate for. Language is going to be the only thing that you need to look out for, in my opinion. And frankly, there's nothing said in this movie that these kids aren't hearing at home, or hearing and saying at school, unless they go to some crazy, highly religious Christian prep academy or one of those things. If they're going to public school, they're hearing far worse than is what's said in this movie. So, but yeah, go check it out. As far as rating goes, taking a look at the positives, which is, one, it's a hell of a good time. I know I made that joke in the open, but it really is. It's a fun movie. 2, it's a great entry point into the films, and I'm glad that I don't want to jinx it if they are planning on doing it, but this is solid as a standalone movie. If they want to try to turn it into a franchise, I'm sure they could, but part of me kind of hopes they don't. I think if they were to try to take this narrative and extend it any farther, they would start to run into issues and opening up plot holes. And sometimes you just want a horror movie that you can sit down and just spend, an hour and a half with. I want to say this one's an hour and 28 minutes long, which is perfect. We need more movies like this in more genres. I don't want to have to take a 10-minute intermission to go stand in line at the bathroom halfway through watching superheroes beat the shit out of each other. Um, but yeah, just grab some popcorn, grab some candy, a soda, and check this one out. It's well worth the price of admission. I'll say that. Are you going to miss anything by waiting until this gets to streaming? I don't think so. I don't think so. Other than the ability to watch it with an audience and laugh along with people, which I think is a big part of the cinema experience. I don't think you'll miss a whole lot. And frankly, movie tickets aren't cheap now, right? So, yeah, this is a 3.5 to 4 star movie for me. And again, I'm looking at this purely as a fan, not as a film critic. I have no film training. I'm just looking at this as somebody who likes going to see horror movies. And this one I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, if you get a chance, go check it out. If you want to wait until it's on streaming, by all means do so. I think you'll enjoy it at home too. But until then, grab your family, go sit in a theater for a little while, and enjoy some cinema. We'll catch up with you later. Thanks all.